I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
Okay, was that all choppy?
Nope.
Okay, it's horrible on my end. Welcome to welcome to Tuesday, our Paramotor Hangout Tuesday night. I'm one of your hosts, Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane. With me tonight is Will and Mr. Mark McElroy from Paralife PPG. We have two guests tonight. Leo, who is a he's 1 day into training so far, and Austin from Lift Paramotors. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So, truth be told, and we're always no filter, Austin just jumped on during the intro. This is the first time I've talked to him.
So Austin's a great guy. Yeah, Lift Paramotor. He's a fellow North Carolinian, so we won't hold that against him. How you doing, man? How you doing, Austin?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing good. It's an interesting topic that Shane came up with tonight. What was it?
Fill me in. What was the? Did you guys go over something in the intro?
Well, yeah. Before the show started, so the show tonight is what to expect when going to school to learn to fly. For myself, I think I had really good schooling and I learned a lot, but Lord, it was the hardest thing that I went through at first. I was a horrible kiter, horrible student. Nothing worked for me, and I hated life for the first 4 days. And I have told the story 1,000 times. I was probably the worst student that ever walked out on the field. I couldn't kite to save my life. I hate to say I get it up and it come back down because there's people in the chat will wear me out on that. But anyways, the concept wasn't in my head. I just could not figure it out. And then I got okay at kiting to where I was able to get towed. I think I had 4 or 5 tows, and 2 of those I had a failed launch on. So, and everything worked out on the tows. I went up safely, came down safely. The next day we put on our paramotors, and I had 32 launches before a failed launch. And my 33rd launch, I aborted that mission because I was going from grass to asphalt. Not that I didn't have runway or the wing wasn't right. I just didn't in my head want to make the transition between grass and asphalt. So I aborted. And I was asked, why did I do that? And I said, because I didn't want to go from grass to asphalt. So we reset up and I flew 2 more times. And so I ended up getting 34 flights. And I've been flying for over 3 years now. I've got a little over 450 flights now and 220 something hours on my motor. So everything's worked out great for me.
Cool.
Well, do you have what did you expect going into a class?
You know, I had one of the unfortunate people who I had what I called less than stellar training, and most of my training came from my local group of guys. So I really went into it with a strong desire to achieve flight with a paramotor. I mean, I already flew. I mean, I flew general aviation, but I wanted to fly a paramotor. And My first flight went great. I did 6 attempts on my first day of where I flew, and on my 6th attempt, I botched a takeoff and broke a whole bunch of stuff. And so one of the reasons I wanted to get Leo on the show, Leo's a new brand spanking new. I mean, your first day of training, you completed that, right?
Yeah.
And I went home thinking that, man, I doubted everything. I thought, man, what did I just like waste all this money on all this gear? And maybe this sport's just not for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for it. Just a complete doubt of everything. And honestly, and I'm not too proud to say it, I was in freaking tears because I had placed so much hope in, I don't know, flying the paramotor. I spent so much time watching videos. So, I mean, I really, really invested a lot into it emotionally before I even got my gear. So what I found, though, is I reached out to my local group, and lo and behold, they had all experienced very similar situation to mine. They had all experienced failure, not failure in a complete sense, but failure at a launch, failure at a landing, broken equipment, broken props. And see, my instructor never once told me, hey, that's normal. That sometimes happens. It doesn't mean that you're not going to achieve your goal. Not once did he say that. So that's kind of how I went home with that feeling.
Will, did we train from the same person? I forget.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'll try not to mention names, but I'm 99% sure we did, Austin.
For sure, yeah.
So and Leo, and I was thinking about reading his post, but I think we've all been there. I can tell you this, Leo, we all suck in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's just, you know what I mean? I mean, kiting is not as freaking easy as it seems. And
No, it's not.
no,
No,
but
it's not.
I can guarantee you this: if you practiced enough, it will become intuitive. You'll find your body, you just kind of your reactions just doing the right thing, without even thinking about it. So I could totally relate to your post.
Yeah, it's
If there's anyone in the chat, this is kind of what I wanted to get to. If there's anyone in the chat that didn't suck when they first started, let me know, man. I want to know what you're taking.
Well, when I was in training, I feel like I had to use a lot of just kind of my own common sense, and I had to kind of rely on that more than I relied on my instructor.
Yeah.
So, which was kind of tough, and it was. I think that instructors. You definitely you've got good instructors and you have bad instructors, and I think that comes through the entire process. Even when it's just with how thorough they're being, in the beginning, and giving showing expectations, and how much encouragement are they giving, and I don't think I got any of that. But I succeeded. I mean, I got 2 flights, failed my 3rd launch, and I didn't go back. And I didn't fail another launch until probably over 100 flights. My next failed launch was at wasn't at Moonshiners, but it was at the same airport, and that's just because I'm just not used to that kind of air. But yeah, I mean, and I think I learned probably way more through the group that I was flying with, and just a lot more of the skill aspect of everything. I think I learned just the very, very basic fundamentals through my instructor, but that was really about it. I mean, when I was learning, just to give everybody kind of some sort of idea. My instructor, I was paying normal instructor rates, and we would work from about 7 a.m. to about 10 or 11 a.m. And then we would call it a day. And we did that for about 4 days. On day 4, I was flying after that many hours of training. So it was not very thorough.
Okay. So between the type of school you go to, the type of pilot we are, that each of us are, does matter. I went to Four Winds, who they're no longer in business now, but Shannon and Lauren Michaels. Our personalities didn't get along great. Not that we had any issues. It just when I became hard on myself, he kind of just left me alone, which made me even madder because I was by myself trying to figure something out. And I do understand his logic to it. Kind of let me figure it out or chill out, one or the other, which did not go over well at the moment. But I don't. So Leo's going once or twice a week for training. I don't know if I could do that. Physically, I know it would be better for me to go once or twice a week. The 12 days that I went to training, by day 2.5, I was spent. I went to, after the last day or the third day, at the end of the third day, I was at Walgreens buying all the Pedialyte I could find. I could not sit still without cramping. You guys know me, I like my beer, and I did not have a beer for 8 days straight because I couldn't. There was no room for anything other than pure something that was going to get back into my body. That was going to help me. I was cramping like there was no tomorrow. I was bruised from head to toe. And I would call my wife and say, I paid this guy to beat me up. Like I'm paying him to beat me up. I was covered in bruises. I was actually just went back and looked through our my text messages with my wife to see if I could find any photos of the riser arms. And dude, I was covered in bruises. I couldn't believe it. But I mean, it is. I didn't expect. When I went there, let me tell you what I did before school. Once I knew school was coming 9 weeks in advance, I hit the gym. I was doing 800 flights of stairs on the Stairmaster thing. I walked 3 miles a day. I was doing light weightlifting, nothing heavy, nothing major, just kind of trying to get into shape. And within the first hour and a half, I realized I should have started 9 years ago working out because I still was out of shape. It was killing me. I was also 45 years old, so whatever.
Well, the bruises are totally normal, especially right in this area.
Yep.
I mean, from your armpit to about halfway down your bicep, it like you're there are more colors that you'll see in your skin during that time.
Yeah. Battle scars, man.
I mean, yellow, blue, purple. All of it. I mean, it looks like you got slammed with something. But it doesn't hurt though. Like you're not in pain with that. It's just, but yeah, it's a totally normal thing. And I noticed that in the latest PPG Bible, they make mention of that. So it's definitely a normal thing.
Yeah, right on. Someone, James Belleville in the chat said that for him, it just took the instructor the instructor to step back and just to let him do it. And that was my experience too. And I was watching a Kyle Lowe video today, and that's kind of what he does. You know, he's a really good instructor, but he gets them to a point to where he can step back, and then their job is to do the hard work, and that is to practice, something he can't do for him. And and my situation was very similar, Austin, in that after my crash, I didn't go back for more instruction until after 70 hours of just kiting. nothing but freaking kiting. I'd go to the park early in the morning and I'd stay there all day long and leave when the park closed. So kiting is really important, but it's not something that I don't know anybody that got it in one day. I mean,
Well,
there, but sure wasn't me.
Well, I had two other students in my class. One was a young whippersnapper of about 25 years old who picked up kiting. I think at the end of the first day, he was wingtip dragging one side, running across the field, and then coming back the other way. And the other young lady, who may have been in her early 30s, had been kiting since January. Here it is October with her boyfriend that was a pilot. So then you got the short bus guy over here that brings his wing up, sets it back down, brings his wing up, sets it back down, which I think only added more pressure to me because I called and said, "Hey, I'd like to buy a wing and kite before I come to school." And they're like, "Well, if you do that and you pick up any habits, or bad habits, then we're gonna have to break you of that." So I was like, "Makes sense." So I just went to the gym. And then when I got to school, everybody was killing it. And well, there's me. I still to this day get goosebumps of thinking how horrible of a student I was at first. And I mean, it's this this sport. Everybody will feel you will feel pressure from everybody at some point on like it's some kind of competition. But truly, honestly, it is a single man sport. It's you and the machine and the wing. So understand there are going to be people that are going to have comments about this or that, want to give you advice. It may be great advice, it may be crap advice. You have to figure out what is what for you. But honestly, it's a single man sport. What I mean by that, it's you and the machine and the wing. So when it all comes down to the end of the day, you jump in your seat early, you don't kite the wing correctly before you're full throttle. All of that depends on you, nobody else. And that's uh that's a tough one to get over because you're going to have a whole bunch of people. If you go somewhere and you got 5 or 6 guys that watch you launch, they're all going to have something different to say about how to do it correctly. So we haven't heard from Mark and his schooling experience. What were you expecting when you went to school, Mark?
I was expecting a lot more than I got. I don't think my guy's in the paramotor business anymore. Um, I got a bunch of good beach kiting, uh, no tows, no classroom instruction, a whole lot of kiting and 3 flights, and I was out there for 2 weeks. So I came home and really, you know, figured it out a little on my own and with the group of guys that I fly with.
Yeah. So Leo, I'm telling you, I know who you're training with. You're training with Sean, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're with a good instructor. So you already have the benefit of that. And so a lot of us, as you can hear, didn't really have good
Yeah.
instructors. So one thing that came to mind when I was reading your post is you were kind of harsh on yourself, and we're all hard on ourselves. We're the hardest critic, but it's not. It really, if you go into it thinking it's not your job to judge your performance when you're training like that. That's your instructor's job. He'll know what you're doing good, what you're doing not so good, what you need help with, and so as much as you can. And this really goes throughout your whole training with your instructor, is especially when you're in the air, is to be a robot. Just do what your instructor tells you to do.
Yep.
And before you know it, you'll be doing it on your own. And your instructor's voice will be in your head for the rest of your flying career. I mean, you'll be in a situation, and all of a sudden you'll hear your instructor's voice. So, or something your buddy told you to do.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, who's your instructor? Sean who?
Sean Simmons, the PPG grandpa.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paramotor, Arkansas.
Yep. Paramotor, Arkansas. So I would say I had great instructor and a great school. We didn't, again, not his fault, not my fault. It's just our personalities were a little different. where he wants somebody that's going to stop and listen to him, where I'm over here angry and mad at myself. So I'm not listening to nobody. And I'm so, again, I think I had great, I think however many hours I have on my motor, I'm still on my same prop after 3 years. I've never blown a prop. And I know you're not supposed to say that, but I actually need probably a new one at some point. I just borrow Mark's. He's got an extra one, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, I keep an extra one. Well, I didn't blow one, but I did blow a couple of them.
Yours were pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. I do pretty good when I go. I go hard.
Might as well. It's the same price, whether it's half broken or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, I called that guy that does the tips repairs, and I sent him the picture of the last one. He's like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
yeah,
Whatever. Send me another new one."
yeah. So, well, I'm tickled pink for you, Leo. I know you're in for an exciting journey. So, how long are you flying? I mean, you've gone to one lesson, so are you kind of doing it piecemeal, like every?
Well, no, I work 6 days a week and I'm on call 24/7. So Sundays is usually the only day I really actually have off. Like every third Saturday I get off. So, just trying to find time, every available day I can.
Man, that's kind of, you don't have, okay. Me personally, I don't know if I would need to learn the way that you're doing it, but I don't think I would learn the way that you're doing it. Like, I need more consistency on so I would be able to retain the information that I learned yesterday. How are you on retaining info a couple days later, what have you?
Really, that's not much of a problem. My biggest problem, honestly, is the biggest problem I had during all this was picking up the risers. The way he showed me to pick up the risers, there you go. You hold your thumbs out, you kind of do that motion.
Right.
For some reason or not, I don't know what it was. I couldn't get it. It just did not click in my head, and I was getting frustrated. And the more I got frustrated, the worse it got, to the point where I just ended up standing there for about 5 minutes and just kind of made myself relax and get back to it. And it's just frustrating because normally I'm not like that. I generally pick up things pretty quick and retain what I learn, but just that one thing just got me kind of frustrated to the point where it was more, it was just irritating.
Right. No, I feel you. I could not keep the wing up to save my life, but yet the guy next to me's had it up for 5 minutes, is actually having a conversation with the other pilot or the other student next to him, having a conversation. Meanwhile, I'm bringing the wing up, setting it back down, bringing it up, setting it down. It was the most frustrating thing ever. And I'm telling you, if you just stop, maybe go get a drink and come back, because that's at one point I walked off the field. I went and got a drink, sat down, finished that soda, went back over, and things worked out better. But I just needed to take a break. And I mean, I don't know Sean's the way that he does his class. I only can tell you the way that I do my class, which is, I guess, the same, almost identical to aviators schooling. So, but I know we went all freaking day long for 3 days straight of just kiting. If we could kite, it was kiting. If the winds were kind of strong, it made it easier. But here in Central Florida, in the middle of the state, not much wind blows in the morning. So we were running and running and running. So by the midday, I mean, we were exhausted. And we still had to come back that afternoon.
So if I find that one of my students just isn't picking something up as quick as I would like for them to, I try to explain it in a different way. Because however it is that I'm used to explaining something that traditionally works with most people, it's not working with this student, and it's just not the way that they learn. And so I'll try to come up with a different way to explain it. And so I think it's perfectly okay to ask your instructor too if there's a different way he can teach you, or if there's a different way he can explain what it is he's trying to get across, even if he kind of jumps to like the end result, like what's the theory here, what's the goal, what is it that I'm ultimately supposed to be doing, and then maybe you can come up with your own like little way, because I don't tell people like to put your thumbs up and go up. I mean, I'm not a massage therapist, so I just don't I don't know what that is, but like, I just, there's, everybody learns a little bit different. And I think it's perfectly fine that like, if you're kind of stuck on something, just to like ask him if he can kind of maybe explain in a different way. And I would be like, if a student said that to me, like I would be thrilled that like we like were being productive and we just got to that point, for a student just to come out and say like, whatever it is you're saying, I'm not getting it. So can you do it a different way? And I would be like, absolutely. I mean, sure. So
yeah, Leo, that's perfect. If you're not picking something up, maybe ask if you can be taught, maybe come at it a different way or whatever. My wife usually has to tell me no twice before I understand no, and it's different tones. but no, seriously, I never even thought about that. I wish I would have had that forethought of maybe asking my instructor. I don't understand why. He would literally stand behind me and just slap the back of my elbows. This arm, pull this, and I'm like, why are you beating on me, dude? Like, what am I like? Talk to me. Why are you beating on me? But that's the way he's used to being. The way he taught his students. If he hit your right arm, you got to pull right. Well, I'm in my head going, why am I being hit? You know what I mean? It wasn't, oh yeah, I need to pull right. It was, why am I being hit? I don't, I like Austin's suggestion of maybe saying, hey, I'm not understanding quite what do you mean by this. Can you explain it a different way? That makes a lot of sense.
It does. And even instructors will run into the same problem. Any instructor for anything, if you just can't get through to the student, it's not uncommon for another instructor to come in and they've got a different approach. It's different people are different, right? I mean, they teach differently. And so, I mean, sometimes you even have to go that route. Now, in all fairness, this is his first day, right? He's only had one day of training. So remember, Leo, I said that we've all been there.
Yes, sir.
You probably can't come up with one thing in your flight, career that somebody else hasn't already experienced. For me, I had a lot of trouble figuring out that, oh my gosh, how do I do the risers thing? Just like what you were talking about. And yes, it was frustrating, but I had to come up with something that I think I could use and to teach kind of myself or to help me remember how to do it. I took a video of it as he was doing it, so I could take that video home and, oh, okay, so not that that'll work for you, but it worked for me. And it's not going to be the last time you're frustrated in this sport, I guarantee you. Who was it who someone said something about frustration, that you needed to take a break? Oh, Shane, you said that. You had to step back, when you were frustrated. And
Yeah.
Those are words of wisdom right there. If you're frustrated, it's not a good time to fly.
No, I don't. You can try to drill whatever you want in my head. If I'm frustrated, nothing's going to work. I need it to just walk off. And I did. I went over and had a soda and just kind of sat there by myself and then got back up and walked over and things worked out a little better. Not
turned out just fine.
Yeah. I never tried it. I've always been open and honest on this platform, and I sucked at kiting. I to this day, even as a 3-year pilot, I don't think I'm all that great at kiting. Can I kite now? Yes. Am I great at it? No. Do I ever enter one of the kiting wars at the fly-ins? No. No one needs to mess with me. I'll bring the wing down by myself. You know what I mean? I don't need you to get in front of me and block my air. It doesn't matter.
Well, sitting here listening to you guys talk, kind of thinking about things, honestly, I didn't even get a full day in, and a lot of that's my fault. I've been at this for years with the planes and just trying to figure out exactly which way I wanted to go as far as, you know, how I wanted to fly. I got some time in a little air coupe with a buddy of mine that used to have one, and the goal was always go get my light sport license. Well, I realized just real quick, I don't have airplane money. You know, it's extraordinarily expensive. So this looked like a really good option. And I mean, this is, like I said, it's been 4 years at this point. I've been trying to find a way to fly, you know, by myself. And it's weird once, don't know really know how to say it. I called my wife on the way home and told her it finally clicked in my head after the kiting disaster. You know, I'm finally doing this. I'm actually finally putting a foot forward and starting to get training and, you know, working toward a goal instead of just talking about it. And I think that's kind of when it hit me that, you know, it's not going to be as easy as I thought it was. You know, you read things and this and that, but when you actually get to it, I thought I was going to go there and just kite the damn wing. You know, I was going to pop it up and that was going to be it. And I'd be flying in 2 months, but that's not going to happen. And that's kind of a sobering, you know what I mean? Sobering thing to have hit you.
If this sport was easy, everybody'd be doing it. It does take effort and it does take patience. And I will tell you right now, you're going to have to put both of those together and just work at it one day at a time. Shane said he trained over, I may be completely wrong about this, but I think it said it took him 2 summers. Obviously not practicing training every day, but it took 2 summers, I think he said, to finally get in the air. So I don't know how your instructor, I don't know how Sean works, if you pay one price and come back as much as you need to or what have you. But, you know, there's no reason to rush. You know, I don't know how old you are, but you look fairly young. And
I'll be 42 this year.
Well, I didn't get into this till 45, so you still got 3 more years of I'm just kidding, to catch me. But yeah, it's I mean, just take one training day at a time, because take every bit of information you can from it, because literally once you get in the air, it's you and you only are responsible for you. So what you do learn during class is going to help you greatly. What you don't learn is going to hurt you. So take your time. If you get frustrated, again, I understand you want to run into the sky. It's the most incredible feeling in the world. And it's not worth it if it's not safe. So don't get frustrated. Just take a deep breath, take a step back, whatever you got to do, and set yourself up for success for the entire journey of the flying, instead of just wanting to get in the air. It's not that important to get in the air. It's more important to get in the air safely and come out of the air safely than it is, hey, I'm up here, but I forgot all about my landing process. You know?
Yeah. See, that's what's going in my head. You know, I actually popped it up a few times and held it pretty good. And the wall, I can build a pretty decent wall.
Right.
But I'm sitting there and the wing's collapsing and he's telling me to do this, and I'm doing the exact opposite of what he's telling me. And I'm thinking, good God, what if I get in the air and I just spaz, you know, and just lose control? And so, you know, it's a real fear that I need to have in my head, because, you know, obviously I don't want to do it once. I want to do it more than once. So
yeah, you don't want it to be a one-time thing. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Hey, you can skydive without a parachute. If you want to do it again, you need a parachute, though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Totally get it, man.
Yeah, Leo, just take it one day at a time. Don't, like, you're not, there's no time, there's no finish line. There's no time limit is what I meant, not finish line. There's no time limit. So just take your time and know that maybe this trip wasn't so great, but next week will be better or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're not practicing it or training every day. So just, there's no hurry. There's no you'll get it. Sean will be patient with you and help you out as all he can. So just don't beat yourself up. And I say that for a guy that literally beat himself up. You know?
Yeah.
I think the sport, especially like during training too, it's one of those things where you'll be having trouble, having trouble. But the moment that you get it, and the moment that you do it right, and then you know what it's supposed to feel like, I think from that point on is when not getting it kind of becomes a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Sean's real, seems like he's real forgiving. I haven't, obviously I haven't talked to him just a whole lot as far as that goes, but seems like he's real forgiving, and I think he's going to be a good instructor to have. I really do.
Yeah.
He is a good instructor. John Wayne summed it up perfectly with this.
Thanks, John.
You'll laugh at all the frustration you had. That is so true. And don't think that it's work the whole time you're flying. I mean, things just get easier and easier and easier. And it's kind of like, I don't know what, I mean, you fly an airplane, don't you? Or did I see something about?
Well, no. My buddy got me up in the air one day and kind of got me hooked on it, the little Taylor craft he's got.
Uh-huh.
And then through him, I met a man that had a little Ercoupe. Don't know if you've ever heard of a Ercoupe, but they're neat little planes. You should look them up. They're kind of an odd duck little plane, but they're really cool. But I've got, I don't know, probably 15, 20 hours in that. And it's just, after doing that, I can't not do this. You know what I mean?
Well, how about motorcycles or jet skis? You into any of that?
Actually, 2 years ago, I started riding motorcycles. I've got two of them in the yard right now that we ride. My wife's actually getting involved in motorcycling.
Yeah.
So I bike. I bike, I hike, I ride motorcycles, and generally that's what's been so frustrating. Is generally the motorcycles. I just decided one day I wanted to ride, went and got the bike, and I started riding.
Yeah.
And for this, and like I said, after that first day, I can understand why it's going to be a lot more of a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, one day, you know what? It would be real interesting, Sean, to have him come back home like in 3 months.
No problem, Bill.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, Shane, I meant. Damn it. Too many shush sounds. So.
Austin, what do you got? You got any advice for Leo?
Yeah, just remember that there's a difference between learning and failing.
Yeah,
that's good advice.
I mean, there is. You're not failing every time. You're learning, and you're still in that learning process. And you're still. I mean, one day. I mean, you got a long way to go. I mean, I'm still learning. Like, I still kite when the wind is nice. I mean, I'm kind of past the point now where I'm kiting just to learn how to kite, of course. But like, I mean, if it's a nice laminar windy day, I mean, I love going outside and kiting and just working on like just 360s or cobras or whatever. Just having fun with it. I think that once you start getting better at kiting starts to get a lot more fun. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy getting drugged 20 feet down the runway. I mean, it's just fun to me at this point. And it's fun to me though, because I'm kind of at the level too where I know how to stop it if I want to, but like, but yeah, it like to me, like it just gets a lot more fun. Beach, doing ground handling at the beach is a lot of fun. It's easy, but you can kind of learn a lot too. So.
Oh man, yeah, that beach flying is just like, God, that is wonderful. I mean, when you're like in North Carolina, we don't get a lot of laminar wind like that. Man, that is sweet. Just come in and do that tippy toe touchdown and.
So I live less than 3 miles from the beach. I have never taken my wing to the beach and kited. I've launched from the beach, But why have I? And as soon as Austin said that, I was like, why have I never gone to the beach and just kited? Like, that makes no sense.
Well, kiting is. I don't think anybody should ever really stop kiting. I mean, it's it opens up a lot more doors for you. I mean, it allows you to be able to launch in more places. I mean, I can if I've got the wind, I can launch in a place that I can't put my wing down in. I can. It just opens up a lot of doors, and it instills a lot of confidence when you're really good at ground handling, and that's why I do it. And it's also kind of nice to be able to show up to a field and look like you know your way around a wing. When you get it's nice to be able to pull your wing out and just know what you're doing with it. So
I can figure out what I'm doing with it as long as I have a motor on my back, which I'm not trying to upsell or not say that you need to kite, because I definitely need to kite more, but I literally could not kite to save my life until I put that motor on my back and everything. I don't know why. Something clicked in my head or whatever it was, and ever since then I do kite. Actually, I just won on Sean Simon's show 2 weeks ago. I just won a kiting harness. The guy sent it a tracking number. It should be here Friday. A brand new kiting harness. So I really have no real excuse on not going to kite, which might be my next YouTube video. Just so you know, you have to be kiting. I'm like, Austin made me do this.
I kind of chuckled when Austin was talking about, kiting and being drugged. When I was learning, I kept getting drugged every time I freaking pull that wing up. But I'd pull it up, just enough to get it in the power band, and there it would stay. I'd be afraid to pull it up any further. I'd just keep it right there in the power band. So,
I'm gonna look for my my SIV video, or not video, but photo of me on my back. My one foot literally the winds were howling, and I launched and somehow ended up getting yanked off my feet. My feet went over my head. I got one foot wrapped around A lines, and I was heading for the creek. And it was pretty fun.
sounds like fun. So you're in Arkansas, you said, right, Leo?
Yeah.
About an hour from training?
About, yeah, we off exit 81 off I-40. It's just south of Russellville.
So when are you going back? Have you got that scheduled yet?
If the weather holds out, I'll be there Sunday morning.
Excellent.
I'm actually ready for an actual full day. Hopefully get some good hours under my belt.
Cool.
Austin, what's your opinion on new pilots and cameras?
And cameras, did you say?
Like GoPros, getting those all up and running before flights. What's your opinion on that? I'm
not a good person to ask. I'm a professional photographer as my full-time job, and I rarely take a camera up with me. I mean, I have my cell phone, and if I see something kind of pretty, I'll take a picture of it. But when I'm flying, I want to get away from all that. So I don't take a GoPro up with me. I don't take anything up with me except my phone. So
I did find this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's day 3 of just kiting at school.
Dang, man.
Dude, I was tore up from the floor up.
Yeah. Both arms like that?
Yeah, both of them was like that. It was crazy, dude. I couldn't believe. And I'm talking just absolutely sore, man. from head to toe.
Was it sore? Mine never got sore. I mean, like Austin said, they turned all kinds of different colors, but they weren't sore.
All right, come on. I can find. I know I posted that video or the picture of me just getting absolutely yanked. Oh, I did have this one. I'm sure you guys have at some point had this problem in flights. Oh, come on, already. I don't know why that disappeared so quickly. Austin, what's wrong with that picture?
I can barely see it. I see.
What is it? Just the carabiner?
Yeah. Carabiner sideways.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I've also had it where the clip gets tucked up underneath the swing arm clip. I mean, that's not a big deal, but I did see. Did you see? It was Honeycutt, I think, that put something. It was on YouTube or Facebook where he looked over and his harness was just barely the riser was like halfway in between the clip and the lever. It was just hanging there, suspended. Now that's scary. So now this is something that, and remember I said you're going to hear your instructor's voice all throughout your training. Probably when you're doing your pre-flight, that's a really good time to listen to hear his voice. You kind of walking yourself through what to check, what,
Make sure your door is shut.
Yep.
Yeah. His door was not shut, halfway.
And what that is complacency. I've done it. I actually had a video. I don't have it now. I actually reverse launched. In the video, you can see that I had a riser twist. And I kited the wing up, had good wind. I turned and launched. And as soon as I pulled right brake, it just stuck right because I had double twisted riser. I don't know how. It literally was in my face. I went through it. I went through the motion in a complacency of doors, roads, brakes, clear to pulley, go. And none of that was truly checked. It was just set in my head. So now
You should touch it.
What's that?
Touch it with your finger.
No, yeah. Now it's literally each side I hold out and I go. If it's not the same on either side, it gets disconnected, restarted, and we go over it again.
Yeah, so the way I teach that is I have my students like not only say it but also touch it. Just like when you leave your house, every time you walk out your door, you touch your front pocket, whichever one your keys are in. You touch your other pocket to make sure your phone's there, and you touch your back pocket to make sure your wallet is there. And every time a student clips in, I have them touch every single buckle that they clip in. It's each leg strap, 1, 2, the one in the middle, 3, chest strap, and chin strap for your helmet. And then again, we'll go through, gates are locked, roads are clear, trims are set, and brakes are clear to the pulley. And does Sean do that with you, Leo?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So then maybe
exact words too.
yeah. So then maybe you should add to that. Maybe it's like take your thumbs and sneak under the fence or something.
Yeah.
Just add something silly in there at the very end so that you remember that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. See, I do that in other areas of my life with locked doors. I kind of have OCD, so I'm constantly double checking doors and stuff like that. So
OCD is a good thing to have in the sport.
Yeah, that's right. Man, I tell you, I've tried launching without any brakes in my hand. I've tried launching with one brake in my hand, reaching up as I'm running, grabbing the other brake. I've even tried launching without my throttle in my hand. And each time.
Yeah, I got a video of that at Bad Apples. I watch, and I'm running, and I'm just like, Where the hell's my throttle? It's still hooked. It's still hooked.
Yeah, man. But I can tell you this, that after each time that happened, it was because my first launch didn't go well. I was starting to get frustrated, and I was kind of feeling rushed at that point. So if your first launch doesn't go well, it doesn't mean that going faster is going to make the second launch go better. So it means, just slow down, take a deep breath, or heck, go have a soda or whatever. Just chill, because it is. Bill H said it right. We're supposed to have fun in this sport. The learning part is you got to get that out of the way first, and the fun will come.
Oh, crap. I'm trying to quickly find, because I actually had that the camera overhead hooked to my wing when I was launching, and you just see me like start running, and then my hand is just like, dude, where's your throttle? And I was just like, you idiot. Like, how dumb can you be? The motor was running. I still don't know how that happened.
Oh, man. Well, while you're looking, I could do a shout out to our chatters.
Yes, let's do that. Sorry.
All right. So we got Bill H, Mr. Dana 54, Mark McElroy, Bonnie Franz, Next Batman, Angela Preslick. We got John Wayne, Mad Sloper, Tony Marzano, and Linda Anderson, Paramom, Daniel Rouge. What's up? Bill H, I just said. James Belleville. Hey, man. Okay. Brian Franz. Slow Days. Hey, man. Shane Burton's in there.
Photographer, too. Sorry.
What?
Slow Days. He's a great photographer. Nature.
Yeah. Cool. I Can Fly PPG. What's going on, man? Like I said, Tony Marzano. Greg Laney. You know what I should probably do is, kind of like we're doing a spinny wheel. As I get names, I just put them in a list. That way I don't have to go through the entire chat transcript.
Well, as soon as you're done, I got the video.
I'm not too far from being done. Still going through the list. I don't want to miss anyone. Shane's Planet Shane. Hey, man. Greg Laney. And PPG Pirate. Hey, Brooke.
I said hi to Brooke twice last night. He didn't say hi to me. I messaged him on Messenger. I was like, dude, twice now, bro. I can get a shout out.
What's up, James? James is in the house.
Shane Lyman.
Yeah, I got Shane. Not Sean, but Shane, right? All right.
All right, let's work. Our show's almost over here. We got
Craig B. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna screen share. Here we go. I'm not gonna do sound because we don't really need sound. Let's see.
Russell Smith.
All right, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So this is one of the faceplant thing was less embarrassing than this.
Gary Simons, what's up, man?
There's no throttle in my hand. It was literally just bring it up and call it a day.
Well, that looked kind of exciting.
Not really. It was
4-letter choice words.
Bad apples. Like there was a million people watching, and then I don't even know how to explain it. Like, so in this sport, we all become complacent to a certain point, and that's usually where accidents and mistakes are made. And the faceplant thing that happened to me, that's at the beginning. It'll be in the outro as well. I got a line wrapped around my foot. I didn't realize it. The wind was blowing kind of hard. Instead of doing a reverse, which I'm really comfortable doing, I decided just to go ahead and force a forward launch, and I took an extra step back, which apparently wrapped a line around my foot. And when I threw myself forward, I got the line stuck on my foot and, well, face plant.
Graceful it was.
Oh,
Gavin Kidd, what's up, man?
Mark, you know him?
Mr. McElroy?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's one of the guys that flies local with me. Real good pilot.
He can throw down, that's for sure. I've seen him.
Yeah. Yep.
He must have learned from Mark.
Negative.
What wing are you kiting, Leo? You know?
Oh, honestly, I don't know the name. I know it's a kiting specific wing. It's not meant for flight. It's just for kiting.
Okay.
So like a 14-meter wing or something.
Yeah.
Austin, how do you feel about that? I think a smaller wing is harder to kite. I don't know, and I would assume a smaller wing is harder to kite. Yes, no, maybe.
I think it depends on the wind, and I think it depends on the wing. I think that the ozone, what is it, the groundhog? I think they're really sluggish. I don't like those. But a lot of people have good luck with them. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of success with those. I think that I like the BGD Seed. It's a really good ground handling wing. It behaves a little bit more like your paraglider will. But personally, like I think that I mean, if where you're training is, if it's super windy, I mean, if it's more than like 6 or 7 miles an hour, maybe a little more, I don't know, then maybe use a smaller wing for just ground handling. But if it's pretty close to where you're going to be flying anyway, I think that you should be training with the wing that you're going to be flying, because it's going to be different. Small wings are really fun to play with and to do some ground handling stuff with. But if you're out there kiting in like 10 to 15 mile an hour wind, maybe you should, especially as a beginner or as a PBG-1 pilot or prior, you should definitely be training maybe on something like a smaller wing that's not gonna kill you. So, what are the wind speeds there?
Oh, with Arkansas, you never really can tell. It can be no wind at all, and in the next 10 minutes, you got a 15-mile-an-hour gust. It just really depends on where you are. Where we were, it was probably 3 to 4 miles an hour.
Okay.
But Arkansas is real bad about shifting winds and shifting weather.
Yeah, I mean, small wings are also a little bit easier just to bring up too. But yeah, I like to train people like from the start on the wings that they're going to be flying. I think it's just a little bit. I think it sets them up for success a little bit quicker. But I think it depends on the wind and stuff too.
Yeah. Again, day one. So I mean, that's kind of an intro, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
So right on. Hey, we got let's see, 20 thumbs up. So hey, if you like the show, yeah, send us a thumbs up. Really appreciate it.
Or thumbs down, doesn't really
Thumbs
matter.
down, that's fine. We still get the credit.
Someone has gone through the trouble once a week and did thumbs down. I just cracked me up because it doesn't matter. I mean, it's still content. I mean,
honestly, I don't even know where to see the thumbs down. I've never made an attempt to go look for where those things are.
So when I go back the next day, just see how many views or whatever. There's always one thumbs that cracks me up because it still counts. I don't care.
Yeah, it's still metrics.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Well, awesome. We got well, we're almost out of time. Austin, you want to tell us where we can find you on social media, what you do for a living, whatever you want to tell us?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Instagram primarily under Austin Joffrey Photo or just Lift Paramotor. You can visit my website, liftparamotor.com. I'm on Facebook, but I don't use that much. So
And Leo, do you have any social media you want people to reach out to you on, or?
I've got a Facebook account. I get on Facebook, but I'm not just real active on social media on all the different platforms. So it'll be primarily through Facebook.
Okay. Mr. Mark McElroy, where can we find you, sir?
Paralife PPG on YouTube.
And Mr. Will Fly, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube under Will Fly or online at willflyppg.com.
And you guys can find me on this channel at Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok. It's ppgshane.com. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Oh, shows. Will, what show you got on Monday night?
Monday night, we've got PPG Grandpa Show on Clear Prop TV, 8 p.m. on YouTube, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, check it out. Of course, we'll be here on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. next week with a new and exciting topic.
Awesome.
And don't forget to make your plans for the Fly It for Gauge fly-in.
Yes, which is right there.
June
Anyways,
8th through the 11th.
that's right. It's going to be the first annual. So it's
One
gonna
other
be-
thing. One other thing, Shane, and Arkansas is included in this list. If you're a paramotor pilot and you live in the Southeast, check out Southeast Paramotor Group on Facebook. Join us, and let's make a great page.
Yep. If you guys hold on Austin and Leo, hold on real quick. We'll get through this intro or outro, and we'll be right back. And Austin, don't forget to watch the last clip of this outro. That's me face planting. You'll love it.
I've got a lot to say,